Lovely. Welcome, everybody. And this evening we're actually in a kind of dark of the moon energy. So you've probably heard of the full moon and the new moon, but this is just before the new moon's like the new cycle of the moon starting, that very thin crescent. And just before is like the darkest point. And for me, I've become increasingly sensitive to this lunar cycle with my emotions, definitely. I always find the dark of the moon's bringing up stuff to be released, so that when we start the new cycle, we can come and plant a seed of intention for the next cycle. So I thought we'd use that as our theme this evening, a kind of a lunar flow or lunar theme, and this sense of really just bringing up in the body or on all layers of our being, everything that's just ready to leave us. So we'll probably get into some deep hip stuff, deep hamstrings stretches, all the places where we kind of pack these things that we hang on to deep into the body. So we'll move into some stretches after a little bit of a flow, but nothing too fiery. We're more in that kind of yin lunar cooling energy. Okay, so when you're ready, we'll come to lie down on your backs on your mat. And just any position, you could use a bolster if you wanted, but just Shavasana is great. Just kind of give yourself a moment to surrender your body to the floor. And it's often tricky to do this, especially at the start of the class, because we're probably carrying a lot of just tension we picked up during the day. But just as best you can, give each part of the body to the floor. Just give the legs to the floor, the feet. Just allow them to feel heavy and supported. And the buttocks. Allow the hands and the arms to kind of release into the floor. And the back of the head. So all the points that are touching the floor, just kind of really find a heavying sensation, a densifying sensation in the body. So already, we're just starting as we need to go on this evening with a sense of releasing tension. So to begin with, just that superficial layer of tension that we've picked up or in the busyness of the day. Oh, welcome, Gabby. Nice to see you. We've just started. We're just lying down and releasing tension from the day into the floor. And then just take some awareness to your breath, and you might just want to do a few releasing breaths. So what I mean by that is just taking a big breath in and maybe even audibly sighing it out or releasing it through the mouth, like a wiping the slate clean kind of breath. And with each exhale, just do that a few times, big breath in and almost sigh it out, or just any noise that wants to come out of you. Don't censor yourself. This is your body wisdom. And just feel that as another way of releasing what's ready to leave. We can also release through sound, through breath. And then just come to conscious breathing. And we're just going to work with the exhale for a few rounds before we begin to move. So we'll just gradually expand the exhale. So as best you can, try to follow my count. If it gets stressful at any point or creates tension to do so, then just come into your own count, but otherwise try and stick with the ratio. Okay, so we'll start with 4 in, 4 out, and gradually expand. Exhale. So just synchronize breath. Take a deep breath in and exhale to release. Breathing in for the count of 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 4, 2, 3, 4. Out, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. In, 4, 2, 3, 4. Out, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. In, 4, 2, 3, 4. Out, 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In 4, 2, 3, 4. Out 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In 4, 2, 3, 4. Out 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In 4, 2, 3, 4. Out 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In 4, 2, 3, 4. Out 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In 4, 2, 3, 4. Out 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And release. The technique, allow the breath to flow more easily, more naturally. And just really be strongly aware of your full exhales this evening. Really working the exhale helps us release. And make sure you complete each exhale all the way to the end where you feel that gentle tucking in of the abdominals to squeeze the last of the air out. It's a natural muscular response when we exhale fully. And then when you're ready, let's just take a full body stretch. So let's just take the arms overhead, bring the legs together. You can reach the arms and fingertips back and press into the heels, bring the toes up to the ceiling. And then point the toes, stretch the front of the feet, front of the legs, and just flex and point the feet a few times here, just stretching the back of the leg, the front of the leg, full body stretch. And then just release, but keep the feet, the legs quite active, and take your right foot, so it's just off the mat to the right, and let your left foot join it. Something you can do here, we want to keep the inner seams of the leg together, so you can either just press the inner feet or legs together, or you can cross the left foot on top of the right foot, ankle on top of the ankle. And then it's a bit awkward, I use my head to do it. You shuffle your torso over to the right as well. So you end up looking like a crescent moon from above. You can keep reaching the fingertips back behind you, or you can hold the opposite elbow. But what we're looking for here is obviously a stretch down the whole of the left side of the body, but we want to keep the left side of the body anchored down. So the left shoulder blade, the left buttock, the left side of the sacrum. So the torso is facing up to the ceiling, chest is totally up to the ceiling. Just take a few breaths here. So we'll make this motif, this shape of the crescent moon a few times this evening. This is the first. Okay, and then at the end of your next exhale, just unhook the left leg, bring it back to the center, bring the right foot to join it, and just do that little head torso shuffle back to the center. Make sure you're starting from the central alignment again, and then take left foot pretty much so it's just off the mat to the left, right foot. Again, you can just flex the feet and press the inner seams of the feet together, or can be easier to just hook across the right ankle on top of the left. And then do that little shuffle, pressing down through the head and lifting and walking the shoulders over to the left. So if you were to imagine looking down at your body from above, you would see a crescent moon kind of shape. If you're holding the opposite elbow, just swap the grip. So you've got the other arm on top. We'll continue to reach back through the fingertips. Check in again with your right side of the body. Is your right buttock and right side of the sacrum anchored? Is your right shoulder blade anchored? Is the chest facing directly up? Breathe into that stretch, right side body. One more deep breath. Side body openers help us breathe freely, which helps us release fully. Okay, so at the end of the exhale, unhook the right leg, bring it back to the center, left leg joins, and just shuffle your way back to the center. Take a moment, find your central alignment. I said we might use a strap, we will use a strap. I want us to get into hamstring, so we'll just work with the hamstrings here. So if you don't have a strap, don't worry, just use your hands around the back of the leg, wherever you can reach, thigh, calf, ankle, whatever, or we take the strap, or whatever you've got, a scarf, a dressing gown belt, anything where it's around the widest part of the foot, and just have a nice loose hold of the ends of the strap, so you feel your shoulder blades dropping back into the floor, your back relaxed, your face relaxed, but your leg is active. So we're pressing up through the right heel, toes to the shin. We're anchoring now the left leg on the floor, unless you've got low back issues, in which case you can bend the left leg, no problem. But otherwise, it's really actively pressing down. And first we've opened the side body, now we open the hamstrings. These are all key parts of the body where we carry a lot of tension, deeply held, some very ancient stuff that we've just not processed. And let's just start to breathe out tension, knots, stuckness, let the energy flow, let the blood flow. So just feel the back of your right leg starting to enliven here. And remember to focus on full exhales. At the end of your next exhale, hold both ends of the strap in the right hand. I like to use my left hand to continue to anchor that left thigh down or the left hip bone down as we take the right foot out to the side. Now getting into the inner seam of that right leg. So breathing out stuckness, tension here. And you can reflect, if you wish, during this class about what is arising for you at this dark moon time of the month. What's kind of stuck energies are with you, or stuck feelings in the body, or stuck emotions, or stuck mental patterning or situations that you're grappling with. You can just kind of be reflecting and just invite this practice to support releasing this stuckness, whatever's ready. You know, it's coming up at this time because it's ready to be seen and transmuted and released. So breathe it out. On the inhale, come back to the center. Release the strap. Just hug the right knee into the chest. You might want to just circle the right ankle, relieve some stuckness in the joint, the ankle joint, and change direction. Enjoy feeling the ankle joint enliven. And then do the same with the hip. Take the hands onto the knees and just steer the knee in big circles so that we start to lubricate and open the right hip. And change direction. So you can just allow yourself to roll around on the sacrum and the back in this one. And then just come into thread the needle. So lift up the left foot, or if it's enough, keep the left foot on the floor, but flex that right foot, outer ankle on the front of the left thigh. And if it's okay, lift the left foot off the floor. Right hand comes through that little gap underneath the right leg, left hand around the outside, and we hold the left shin or the back of the knee. Just let the left foot flop towards the buttock, but keep the right foot alive and active. This can be quite an intense stretch, especially at the start of the class. So remember, just release and bring the left foot to the floor if you need. Breathe into that outer hip. So I'm just targeting all the kind of hot spot areas where we all tend to carry a lot of stuff. Let's just call it stuff. One more deep breath here, and then bring to exhale fully to release. And then let that left leg come down. And we'll swap sides, so extend the right leg, or you might just want to actually start with a full body stretch, just kind of reset, make sure you're centrally aligned, and then bring that left knee into the chest. No, we need to do the hamstring first. Take your strap around the widest part of the foot, or hold the back of the leg. Anchor down through the back of the right leg, toes to the shin. And just notice how this side feels as we start to open, create space, release in the back of the left leg. Again, just check that your face is relaxed, that your back is relaxed, your arms are relaxed, and your hands as relaxed as they can be. Obviously, we need to hold a bit of a grip, but relaxed grip. So the energy is kind of focused in the legs. See if you can get as much length in the back of the leg as possible by really expressing up and out through the left heel. One more deep breath. And then at the end of your full complete exhale, release the right hand, hold both ends of the strap in the left hand, and then just allow the left leg to come out to the left, anchoring down your right side. So try to keep that sense of anchoring through the back of the right leg and buttock, even as we come out to the side of the left leg. And now we breathe into any resistance we feel, possibly in the inner left thigh now, inner seam of the leg. Deep breaths. And then inhale, come back to the center, release the strap, bend the knee, hug the knee into the chest, circle the left foot, open up the left ankle. And change direction. And then come to the hip by just using both hands on the knee to draw big circles with your knee. Well, they're not going to be circles, but circular kind of movements. Allow yourself to roll around on the back of the sacrum as you need here and change direction. You can make the circles as slow or as dynamic as you wish, just taking care. And then coming into thread the needle, so flex the left foot actively, pick up the right foot and place the left ankle on the front of the right thigh. Pick up the right foot if available, or keep it on the floor. Feed the left hand through the little gap under the left leg, right hand around the outside. Holding shin or back of knee. Keep that left foot flexed, but just relax the right foot, heel to buttock. And take some deep breaths, just being kind to yourself. If it is a bit intense at this stage of the class and we haven't really warmed up hugely, just make it easier, bring the right foot to the floor. Deep, full exhales. Letting go. Relax the jaw. Gap between the teeth. One more deep breath here. And at the end of the exhale, just release. We're going to move onto our hands and knees. So just roll to one side, press yourself up. Find your way to tabletop, so your hands are underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. And we'll just move the spine a little bit before we start to flow. So as you inhale, come into the cow, lifting the tailbone, drawing the shoulders back, looking up, and exhale, tailbone under, press the floor away, chin to the chest. Feel this as an undulating wave of motion traveling up the spine, always starting at the base of the spine and finishing with the head. Coordinating breath and movement, inhaling into the cow, exhaling into the cat. And just do one more complete round, so finish the one you're on and one more complete round. And then when you're ready, just come back to a child's pose for a moment and make sure you're kind of towards the back of the mat, because I'm going to go into a kind of lunar flow, so we want to be kneeling towards the back of the mat. Just take a little child's pose. You can bring your hands back to your feet, shoulders dropping forward, or hands in front. Take a few moments here, just surrendering your body to the floor again. So we are going to flow, but it's going to be that more yin quality to the flow, or lunar quality, let's say, not super fiery. Flowing like water. Okay, and then slowly just bring yourself up to a kneeling position. So hopefully you're sitting towards the back of your mat. So just a caveat, this moon salutations we're going to do, they do involve a lot of kneeling. So if anyone has knee issues, you could just do some salutations instead. I know it's not for everyone. But otherwise, we'll just go for it. Most of you have done this with me before, I'm sure. And if you need to watch the first round, that's fine. So just start kneeling at the back of your mat with your hands on your thighs, and just take a moment to tune into your breath and regulate the breath. So we're going to really try and synchronize breath and movement. And we'll synchronize together. So take a full inhale here. And exhale fully. Inhale fully. And we begin. Exhale, sliding forward into child's pose. It's one breath, one movement. We inhale, come up to tabletop, hands and knees. Exhale, tuck the toes, downward dog. Inhale, bring the knees back down to tabletop. Exhale, hips to the heels, child's pose. Forehead to the floor. Inhale, come to a high kneel. Bring the hands to the hips. Exhale, push the hips forward and look up. Inhale, come back to vertical. Exhale, hips back onto the heels, hands on the thighs. Inhale here. Exhale, child's pose. That was one round. Forehead to the floor. Inhale, tabletop, hands and knees. Exhale, tuck the toes, downward dog. Inhale, bring the knees down, tabletop. Exhale, child's pose, forehead to the floor, hips to heels. Inhale, come to a high kneel, hands on the hips. Exhale, push the hips forward, elbows towards each other, look up. Inhale, back to the vertical. Exhale, use the strength of the thighs to lower hips to heels. And inhale here, round 3. Exhale, child's pose, forehead down. Inhale, tabletop. Exhale, tuck toes, downward dog. Inhale, knees down, tabletop. Exhale, child's pose, forehead to the floor. Inhale, high kneel, hands to the hips. Exhale, back bend, hips forward, lift the chest, look up. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, try and use the thigh strength to lower the hips to the heels. We'll do 2 more. Inhale. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, tabletop. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, knees down, tabletop. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, high kneel, hands on hips. Exhale, back bend, maybe slightly deeper now. Inhale, vertical. Exhale, lower hips to heels. The last one. Inhale here. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, tabletop. Exhale, tuck toes, downward dog. Inhale, knees down, tabletop. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, high kneel, hands on hips. Exhale, back bend. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, hips to heels. Beautiful. Let's take a moment, notice how you feel. We're going to do 3 rounds of the moon salutation B, which is exactly the same. We just add a crescent moon lunge. We're going to find that crescent moon shape again. So again, we'll just go for it. So inhaling here. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, tabletop, hands and knees. Exhale, tuck toes, downward dog. This time we inhale, we step or bring the left foot forward between the hands, and we exhale, lower the right knee down and sink the hips. We inhale, raise the hands. This is the crescent moon shape, look up. Exhale, bring the hands down. Tuck the back toe under if you haven't already, and inhale, left foot joins right, but stay on the toes. Exhale, we sink the heels down towards the floor. As we inhale, we step the right foot forward between the hands or bring it forward. And exhale, lower the left knee. Inhale, raise the hands, crescent moon. Exhale, lower the hands back down. Inhale, right foot joins left, stay on the toes, heels lifted. Exhale, lower the heels. Inhale, we bring the knees down for tabletop. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, the high kneel, it's all the same now. Hands on hips. Exhale, back bend, lift the space behind the heart. Inhale, vertical. Exhale, hips to heels. Beautiful. 2 more like that. Inhale. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, tabletop. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, left foot forward between the hands, low lunge. Exhale, lower the knee. Inhale, raise the hands, look up, crescent moon. Exhale, release the hands down. Back toes tucked under. Inhale, left foot joins right, heels lift. Exhale, we stretch the heels down to the floor. Inhale, we bring the right foot between the hands. Exhale, we lower the left knee. Inhale, raise the hands, look up, crescent moon. Exhale, hands down. Tap the back toe. Inhale, right foot joins left. Keep the heels lifted. Exhale, stretch the heels down. Inhale, knees to the floor, tabletop. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, high kneel, hands on the hips. Exhale, hips forward, lift the chest, look up. Inhale, vertical. Exhale, down. Last one. Let it be a moving meditation. Inhaling here. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, tabletop. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, left foot between the hands. Exhale, lower the right knee down. Inhale, crescent moon. Look up. Exhale, hands down. Tuck the back toe if it's not already, and inhale, left foot joins right, heels lift. Exhale, sink the heels. Inhale, right foot between the hands. Exhale, lower the left knee. Inhale, crescent moon, last time. Exhale, hands down. Tuck the back toe. Inhale, right foot joins left. Keep those heels lifted. Exhale, sink the heels. Inhale, knees down for tabletop. Exhale, hips to heels, child's pose. Inhale, high kneel, hands to the hips. Push the hips forward as you exhale, lift the chest, look up, elbows together. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, coming down to our kneeling position, and just pause and just integrate that. Just notice how you feel. I always find when you do a few rounds of this, it's very calming, cooling, really like a moving meditation. So just notice how you feel on all levels. And then when you're ready, we're just going to come to downward dog again. So just bring the hands forward and tuck the toes. Revisit downward dog, and we'll just pause in downward dog for a few breaths this time. So just really kind of root and anchor here through the hands and the feet. Just let the neck relax and the jaw relax. Legs and arms are your pillars of strength. Hands and feet are your anchor points. And there is another anchor point, which is your deep core awareness. So kind of draw your awareness into your lower belly, lifting up your pelvic floor, lifting up, anchoring you into the center of your body. And then we're going to revisit the crescent moon. So look forward, and this time we'll stay with stepping the left foot forward first. That's classic for yin. So left foot forward, lower the right knee, come onto the top of the right foot. So we've already been here, but we're just going to stay for a few breaths this time. So if you wish, full posture, we take the hands up. And it's called crescent moon, or Anjali-asana, but also crescent moon, because you can create this crescent shape. If you start taking the fingertips back a little bit, and follow the gaze, follow the thumbs with your gaze, you start to make a bit more of a back bend and create this crescent moon. This is optional, you can just stay upright, not for everybody. And then exhale, bring the hands back down and just come into that half split, so back to the hamstring. So stay, keep the left heel more or less where it is, just draw the toes up towards the shin, walk the hands back and fold over that front leg. Really working with hips and hamstrings, as well as the side body. And then at the end of your exhale, bringing the left foot back down, tucking the back toe under. Your choice here, you can step back to downward dog, or you can come to child's pose, but just take a couple of breaths between sides. If you really want to vinyasa, don't let me stop you, but just be aware that's a little bit more of the kind of fiery energy. Okay, and then when you're ready, let's take the right foot forward between the hands and bring the left knee down, coming onto the top of the left foot. So you can always just keep the fingertips on the floor. Otherwise, we're inhaling, coming up and maybe exploring that kind of slightly more back bending quality to this posture, where we take the fingertips back a little bit more and try to follow the gaze with the the thumbs with the gaze, but just be mindful, it's a strong back bend. You want to stay very strong in the legs and extending through the spine, not collapsing in the lower back. If you've gone back, inhale back to the vertical more or less, and then exhale, take the hands down, slowly ease off that back hip, walk the hands back, flex the front foot, fold over the front shin. You might need blocks as well, I meant to say, either side of the front leg if the floor is far away. What tends to happen here is we swing the hips out to the left. See if you can bring everything into alignment. Left hip behind left knee, right hip behind right knee and right ankle. Don't forget those full exhales. At the end of your next exhale, bring the sole of the foot back down. And again, your choice. If you really are enjoying the cooling quality of the class, take a child's pose. Otherwise, come to a downward dog. Or as I say, if you're feeling a bit more fiery this evening, do a vinyasa. Downward dog and child's pose are great because they're inversions, they're introspective postures, which is kind of the energy of the dark moon, is very introspective. Okay, so from either tabletop or downward dog, we're going to do one more crescent moon. So when you're ready, step the left foot between the hands, bring the right knee down, top of the right foot. And inhale, take the hands up, but this time come to vertical. My hands are just off the screen, sorry, but I'm pulling up on my left wrist with my right hand. So I've got my right hand around my left wrist and I'm pulling up with that inhale. As you exhale, oh no, sorry, I've done that wrong. Your left hand is pulling up on your right wrist. And as you exhale, you pull the right wrist over to the left. Okay, so hopefully that made sense. Left hand's pulling up on right wrist. So we're leaning over to the left, getting a strong psoas stretch around the right hip. Inhale back to the center. Exhale, take the hands down and just have the right hand underneath the right shoulder and reach the left hand back. Or you could be down on your forearm if you're more open, with the forearm parallel to the floor, reaching back. And some of you might want to find the top of the back foot and either squeeze the heel into the buttock or push the foot into the hand to draw the shoulder back. That's more of the crescent moon shape, is to push the foot into the hand. So it's almost like a back bend. Optional, otherwise we're just reaching back, the back foot on the floor. Turn to the front, take the hands down. And again, really you choose and tune into your body. Just take a little child's pose for a couple of breaths. A downward dog, or maybe do that moving through the plank and everything, but I'm not going to teach that this evening. That's just for you to decide. Then if you're in child's pose, you can just come up to tabletop, hands and knees, or downward dog. But either way, we step the right foot forward between the hands or bring it forward, bring the left knee down, come to the top of the left foot, sink the hips again. Inhale, come up just to vertical with the arms. Now, let me get this right. Yeah, right hand is pulling up on left wrist, so we get really low on the left side. And then we exhale, we use the right hand to pull the left wrist over to the right. The chest stays facing forward, so it's a lateral stretch. You should hopefully feel it down the left side body, but really interesting stretches around the left hip, inner thigh. Inhale back to the center. Exhale, take the hands down, and then your left hand is underneath your left shoulder or your left elbow, the forearm parallel to the front of the mat, reaching the right hand back, either just extending back here or maybe finding that bind. And then I recommend today pushing the foot into the hand to draw the shoulder back. If you've got the bind, then kind of lift the space behind the heart up to the ceiling. So we work more with this crescent moon motif. And then release the foot. If you have the foot, bring the hands down and maybe just slide right knee back to left for a child's pose or a downward dog or a vinyasa. And then when you're ready, we're going to find our way to a standing forward fold. So probably from downward dog. Just take a breath in downward dog. And then step the feet forwards. So the feet are underneath the hips and parallel, and we just forward fold over the shins here. So holding onto the opposite elbow, or dangling the arms, or holding the back of the ankles, or taking the toes, whatever you like. But we're just in this, again, introspective, inverted posture here. Make sure the shoulders are away from the ears, drawing back towards the waist, relax the jaw. Legs are your pillars of strength. Feet are your grounding anchors. Spread the toes, spread the soles of the feet. Anchor in your deep core awareness as well. One more deep breath. And then bring the hands to the hips. Press through the feet, come up with a flat back. So we're going to go into triangle into half moon. We've got this kind of lunar theme this evening. So this is one of the times you might need a brick for the half moon balance, Ardha Chandrasana. So we'll go to the right first. So if you know you've got tight hamstrings, have a block handy near your right foot. Okay, so we'll start with triangles. So step the feet not too wide, and then turn the left foot in, right foot out, but keep the hips facing forward, and inhale. Exhale, slide the torso to the right. Bring the right hand down to meet the leg or foot and stretch the left hand up. Gosh, it feels like ages since I did this posture. So enjoy the side body opening here. And also hamstring, especially that right hamstring. One more deep breath. Focus on the exhale to release. At the end of the exhale, bring the left hand down to the hip. Turn to face your right foot. Bend the right leg, and then bring your fingertips down onto your block or the floor to the outside and in front of the right foot. And then we start to step in the back foot until eventually the right hip's above the ankle, and we can start to raise the back foot off the floor. If we're tight in the hamstrings, we might need to bend the standing leg, and to begin with, that left foot might just be hovering off the floor. But eventually it's in line with the hip, and if we feel stable, we can take the left hand up. This is Ardha Chandrasana. If we feel wobbly, we keep looking to the floor, but eventually we're trying to open the torso sideways on and look forward or even up to that top hand. One more variation, if you need to come out before I say do, but otherwise Chapasana, we're going to bend the left heel into a the buttock, take the left hand back, hold the top of the foot, and then push the foot into the hand. So again, find this kind of crescent moon shape with the torso. It's like we're taking the hips forward. It's like a bit of a back bend, half bow balance, you know what I mean? And then return to half moon integrity. And then from here, just bend the right leg and bring that left foot back down with as much control as you can. And don't worry if you have to come out before, it's a tricky sequence, just do what you can. And then we'll go to the other side. So hopefully it might be a little bit easier when you know what's coming, maybe not. So starting with Trikonasana, reaching the fingers out, turning right foot in, left foot out, but not moving the hips. Hips point totally forward, and inhale here, exhale, slide the torso to the left. It's like you're trying to touch something, just like you reach with your left hand, and then when you can't go any further, let the left hand come down to see what it makes contact with, the leg, the thigh, the shin, the foot. Right hand stretching up, and if it's okay for your neck, add drishti, our gaze point is up to that top hand. We're drawing the tailbone under, and we're breathing fully into this side body stretch here. Maybe feeling it in the inner hamstring on the left leg. Or wherever you're feeling it, just breathe into that resistance. Let go of resistance, of what resistance can be let go of this evening. At the end of your next exhale, bring the right hand down to the hip, turn to look at your left foot. Bend the left leg, use your block on any of its three heights if you need, as you take the fingertips down, forwards into the outside of the left foot. When the left hip is above the ankle, we start to raise the back foot off the floor, eventually in line with the hip, and maybe take the top hand up. Right foot is flexed, so we're pushing out through the heel, the toes are pointing forward. There's an internal rotation in the right leg. Optional Chapasana. You can come out if you need, or bend right heel to buttock, take the right hand back, and then Sometimes we can squeeze the heel to the buttock, but today, push the foot into the hand, which is going to pull the heel away from the buttock and draw the right shoulder back, and at the same time kind of push the hips forward a little bit, so you create this crescent moon shape with the torso and the leg. And then return to Ardha Chandrasana, bend the standing leg, bring the right foot down, press yourself up. Well done. And just take a moment. If you need to bring the feet together, do. We're going to go wide again in a moment. So we'll just do, again, a little bit of a flow, but try to let it be a kind of not a super fiery flow. We'll just move with the breath. Yeah, you'll see what we're going to do, but try to keep the kind of energy of it nice and calm, cooling. Okay, and then we'll use, because we're building a little bit of heat, so we can use up some deep stretches. Okay, so take the feet a bit wider now. We'll go to the right first, so turn the left foot in, the right foot out. Keep the hips forward again. We're coming into warrior two. So inhale here, exhale, bend the right leg. So you want your right knee to be above the ankle or behind. If it's in front, like this, it's too much loading on the knee, so widen the stance, or back off a little bit. Turn to look over the right middle finger, and reach back dynamically through the left finger. Okay, so now we will flow a little bit. So inhale here, exhale, reverse warrior. Take the left hand to touch the left leg, reach the right hand back. Inhale, come back to warrior two. Exhale, bring the right elbow onto the right thigh and bring the left hand up and over. Inhale, back to warrior two. Just going to do that 2 more times. Exhale, reverse warrior. Left hand to left leg. Right hand reaches back, crescent moon shape. Inhale, back to warrior two. Exhale, right elbow to thigh, left hand comes up and over. Or you could bring hand to floor. 1 more time. Inhale, up to warrior two. Exhale, reverse warrior, crescent moon shape. Inhale, back to warrior two. Exhale, Parsvakonasana, elbow to thigh, hand up and over. Inhale, back, warrior two. Then exhale, straighten the right leg, turn the right toes in, so both toes are pointing forward, hands onto the hips, between sides will go forwards. Inhale, look up, open the chest. Exhale, hinge at the hips, forward fold. So just getting into the inner seam of the legs again. Drop the hands to the floor, release the hands to the floor, drop the head, and just take a few slow, deep breaths here. It's another inverted, introspective posture that gets into the inner seams of the legs. And just to add to that, at the end of your next exhale, just straighten the arms, walk the hands forward so they're kind of underneath the shoulders. And then as you exhale, just bend the left knee and just come over to the left with the hips. If you want to go more, come onto the heel of the right foot and bring the right toes up and maybe bring the hands up to the center of the chest for Skandasana. Otherwise, both feet on the floor, toes pointing forward, and we're just bending that left knee. Either way, we're going to feel a stretch in the inner right thigh. If you're in Skandasana, release the hands back to the floor again. Everybody inhale, come up to the center. Exhale, bend the right knee. And you might need to walk the hands over to the right, so the hips are going to move to the right, possibly coming onto the heel of that left foot, sinking the hips even lower, hands to the chest, Skandasana optional. Otherwise, stay with the feet on the floor, toes pointing forward. Bring the hands back down, back to the center, toes point forward. Just take a forward fold again 1 more time, releasing the back of the neck. And then as you exhale, bring the hands to the hips. And as you inhale, press through the legs, come all the way up. Exhale here. Great, so we're doing quite a bit of hip opening. If you need to bring the legs back together at this point for a moment, do. Otherwise, we're just going to go straight to the other side. So we've got a nice wide stance. We're going to turn the right foot in, the left foot out, but the hip bones are pointing forward. Inhale, reach through the fingertips, and exhale, bend the left leg now. So left knee is above the ankle or behind, looking forward over the left middle finger. Draw the shoulder blades down the spine and together, so we draw the shoulders away from the ears. Virabhadrasana 2, feel your legs as your pillars of support. Connect to your deep core at your center of your being. And we're going to do that 3 rounds of flow. So inhale, warrior 2. Exhale, bring right hand onto right leg, reach the left hand back, reverse warrior. Inhale, warrior 2. Exhale, left elbow onto thigh or hand to floor, right arm up and over. 2 more rounds. Inhale, warrior 2. Exhale, reverse warrior, right hand to right leg, left hand back. Inhale, warrior 2. Exhale, left elbow to left thigh, Parsvakonasana. 1 more round, nice easy flow. Inhale, warrior 2. Exhale, reverse warrior. Keep it nice and cool and steady with the breath. Inhale, warrior 2. Exhale, elbow to thigh, right hand up and over. Inhale, warrior 2. Straighten the left leg. And then this time, you can just jump if you wish, or just walk the feet together and just take a moment in the mountain pose just to integrate all this kind of big hip opening work we've done in a scene of the leg work. Take a little moment here. Let's do a time check. I want to make sure we've got a good amount of time for stretching on the floor. Okay, so before we come down to do some hip stuff on the floor, let's just take a balance and yeah, we'll just do the tree. It's my go-to balance, I love it. Okay, so left leg is your pillar of support first, left foot is your grounding anchor, drawing the left hip in, picking up the right foot and bringing the heel to the inner thigh or inner calf or inner ankle, anywhere except the inner knee. Palms together. And then inhale, raise the hands above the head, and we can explore this crescent moon again if we wish. Exhale, open into the full posture. So you can stay here, but if you want to explore the crescent moon motif in tree, it is a bit trickier. We're going to bring the back of the right hand to press against the inner right thigh, bring the left upper arm close to the ear and stretch up through the left fingertips as you root down through the sole of the left foot. Inhale, and then as you exhale, we just bring the left fingertips over to the right a little bit. You have to change the center of gravity and you might wobble, you might fall out. This is very normal because you have to kind of adjust everything because we're coming out of the kind of structural integrity into this bendy shape. Inhale, back to the center, bring right palm to join left. Exhale, hands to the chest. Inhale here. Exhale, release. Don't watch me if you need to stay stable. Okay, so we try to watch something. If you're wobbly, try to fix your gaze on something that doesn't move. Okay, so I'm a bit wobbly, so don't look at the screen. Right leg, right foot is your anchor, your stability. Feel the hip, feel the sole of the foot. Connect your core, pick up the left foot, place the heel to the inner thigh, inner calf, inner ankle. Draw the shoulders back, lift the chest, palms to the center of the chest. You can always stay here, otherwise inhale, we're taking the hands up through the center line above the head and exhale, opening into classic Vrksasana. And again, you can stay here, drawing the shoulders away from the ears. Or we bring the back of the left hand to press against the inner left thigh. We bring the right upper arm close to the ear and we inhale, stretch up through the fingertips, root through the right foot. And as I say, don't watch the screen. We then bring the right hand over to the left. So you have to adjust your whole center of gravity. So the hips kind of go out to the right a little bit to compensate for the right hand coming to the left. Inhale, back to the center. Left hand joins right. Exhale, hands to the center of the chest. Inhale here. Exhale, release. And don't worry if you are all over the place then, this is quite normal. Okay, so let's come down to the floor. I'd like us to meet in child's pose. So if you want to just kind of collapse yourself down into child's pose, that's fine. But if you would like to do one flow, then we'll do that together. So standing at the front of the mat. Inhale, raising the hands and looking up. Exhale, taking a forward fold, dropping the head. Inhale, looking up, lengthening the spine. And we'll just step straight back to downward dog, keeping this kind of introspective, introverted feel to the class. And then dropping the knees down, bringing the hips onto the heels. So we arrived in child's pose. And you can make this a wide knee child's pose if you wish. To again get into that inner seam of the legs. In fact, we will do a wide knee child's pose and we'll turn it into a side body opener as well. So your big toes are touching, your knees are about mat distance apart. And you're just taking the hands forward, dropping the head to the floor. And then to get into the side body, just press through the hands enough just to lift the head, but stay quite low. And just walk the hands over to the left, kind of as far to the left as they'll go. And see if you can bring the right hand on top of the left. So kind of like that, or next to it, but if possible on top. And then just drop the head, and maybe the forehead rests against the upper arms somehow, or maybe it just drops down between them. But you should feel a kind of stretch down the right side body. Try to have a sense of weightiness through the right side of the pelvis. So we don't stretch so far over to the left that the right buttock has to lift off the right heel. Try to feel like you've got an anchor dropping off the right side of the pelvis, staying anchored, rooted, and then reaching away from that, not too far. One more deep breath. And then again, stay low, but just press through the hands to lift the head. Come back through the center. You might just want to pause in the center and rebalance, and then walk the hands over to the right. Bring the right hand kind of as far over to the right as possible without the left buttock lifting the heel, lifting off the heel too much. See if you can place left hand on top of right or close to it, and then drop the head. Feel again this sense of weightiness in the pelvis. This anchor connecting you to the center of the earth, and we stretch away from that weightiness, that anchor point. Breathe into the left side body. And then at the end of your next exhale, lifting the head, walking back to the center. Take a breath at the center, and then when you're ready, walk the hands back in and bring the knees together. And I'd like us to just revisit the crescent motif one more time with the gate pose. So I think we did this quite recently. So we're going to come to a high kneel. We did this in another way, in the moon salutation. So we're in the high kneel position, and we'll take we'll go to the left first. We'll take the left foot out to the side. So you want your right hip to stay pretty much above the right knee. Left foot out, and there's two ways of doing it. You can take the toes the same direction as the heel, or turn the toes to point forward. So try to do one or the other rather than halfway, either all the way out or all the way forward. And then we take the back of the left hand onto the top of the left thigh. Inhale, stretch up through the right side, root down through the right knee as you reach in the opposite direction, and exhale, reach over to the left with the right hand. As you do that, your left hand should naturally travel a little bit towards the left foot. Don't force it, but that just probably will happen, even if it's only a millimeter. We keep the chest facing forward, we keep the tailbone drawing under, and we anchor down through that right knee. If this posture is too strong for you, just skip it. Do that wide knee child's pose again if necessary, or just skip this one because it is quite intense. One more deep breath, there's a lot going on here. And then inhale, lead with your right hand, kind of bring the right hand back down to slide you back up. Bring your left knee in, and we'll just go straight to the other side. So bring your right foot out to the side. As you do that, just check more or less that the alignment stays the same in the left leg, hip above knee. Choose your toe, the same toe position on this side, forward or out to the side. Back of the right hand is on the right thigh. Inhale, stretch up through the left side as you ground through the left knee, and exhale, stretch the left fingertips over to the right. So your palms should be facing each other. Your right palm is up, your left palm is facing down. And this is the crescent that we're creating. We're creating the crescent moon shape with our arms and hands. We're closing the gate. Breathe into that left side, strong contraction on the right side, strong opening on the inner right thigh. So as I say, skip it if it's too much. Don't force your body into shapes it's not prepared to go into. One more deep breath. And then inhale, come up by leading with that left hand, bringing it down, sliding the right knee in. Well done. And just come to just kneel towards the back of the mat. So we're now going to take, the flow that we've used. We're going to take that into some kind of longer held stretches, particularly around the hips. So we're going to start with good old pigeon. So either from tabletop or from downward dog. If it's tabletop, you're just going to slide your left knee behind the left wrist. If it's downward dog, it's the same, but you just kind of bring the left knee into place behind the left wrist. The shin is across the front of the body, and then we walk the right foot as far back as it will go before we come onto the top of the foot. And we can use anything we have to hand underneath the left hip, or even just right underneath the groin, to make this a bit easier. If there's any pain in your left knee, come onto your back, do thread the needle again. Otherwise, when you're ready, we're just going to start to walk the hands forward and just come straight into the reclined version of the pigeon. So this is where we want to come forward and use the weight of our body to increase the stretch in the outer left hip and make sure the head is supported. So you might want to use a brick or just rest your head in your hands, or some of you might be able to just rest the forehead on the floor. But as I say, if it's just not for you, if it's too intense, come onto your back and repeat the thread the needle that we did, the outer ankle on the front of the opposite thigh. It's the same stretch. Relax the back. And those in pigeon, just really relax the belly and the back. Relax the jaw, the face. And this is where working with full breaths, especially full exhales, can be very helpful. So in my experience of my own practice and from teaching, a lot of emotional stuff gets packed down deep into the hips, deep into the hinge of the body. The deepest parts of the body is where we pack the stuff that we really just couldn't deal with at the time. It gets buried. It's like the ancient old stuff. So of course this manifests as physical tension, resistance, but sometimes you may also have mysterious emotional responses to deep hip opens, not necessarily hip opens, just deep stretches or openings in yoga. And this is normal and good. So if anything's arising, memories, emotions, feelings of agitation or whatever, as best we can, we just acknowledge and allow that to happen. It's what's coming up because it's ready to release, and just breathe, continue to breathe peacefully through it, as peacefully as we can. Because we are not that. It's a part of who we are, but we're releasing it so we can also stay calm. So this is the magical healing power of the opening side of yoga. A couple more deep breaths here, full exhales to release. And then at the end of your next exhale, just slowly coming out. So just lifting the head, walking the hands back. And we want to be nice and easeful as we come out of this. So maybe just slowly bringing that left knee back to join the right. And I like to just bring it straight out behind me, come onto the ball of the left foot and just draw that left heel behind me, just to open the back of the left leg. Some of you might just want a downward dog as well, for the same purpose really, to open the back of the left leg. When you feel that the energy is moving down that leg again, either from downward dog or from tabletop, we're going to bring the right knee behind the right wrist, lower the hips, and then tuck the back toe under and slide the left foot back as far as it will go before we come onto the top of the foot. Pad the hips, the outer right hip or the whole groin, however you need, or thread the needle. And then if it feels appropriate in the knee, in the body, take the hands forward, drop the head. Make sure the head is supported, use whatever you need for that. And in this posture, because it can be intense, we often start to resist in parts of the body that don't need to be working. So check the jaw, check the gap between the teeth, check you're not frowning. This is very common. Often people squeeze the belly in when we don't need to, or the back muscles, the shoulder muscles. So just check in, release all the held tension that you don't need, the resistance. Just kind of, for the next few breaths, yield and surrender to the intensity of the posture. Exhale to release and let go. have some awareness, some structural awareness in the lower body by gently pressing down through the top of the left foot. And if you can, keeping the right foot a bit flexed. Everything else releases. And of course, if your body gives you some information that this is just not a good posture for you, injuries, or it's just you're too tight to let go and relax and come out, take an alternative. Otherwise, we try and relax, breathe fully with full consciousness, intention of letting go of whatever is arising to be seen. It's arising because it's ready to be seen, to be released. So be curious about where your mind goes, where your emotions go, where you're maybe into the past and maybe into the future. Just be curious as we do these deep openings. And then at the end of your next exhale, or when you're ready, sometimes I'm not sure if I've done the same amount of time each side, so if you feel like you've been shortchanged, take a few more breaths. But when you're ready, at the end of the exhale, just walk the hands back in. And again, you might want to tuck the back toe under and just slowly ease off that right knee, bring it back to join the left knee and stretch the right leg out behind you on the ball of the foot, heel pressing towards the wall behind you. Maybe a downward dog. And then when you're ready, just coming down, we're coming to a seated position, and we're just going to go straight from outer hips to inner hips. So we're going to come to Baddha Konasana to begin with, and you might want to sit on a block. It can be a really helpful moment to sit on a block for those of you that struggle to open out the lower back. So it's very common in this posture to feel very compressed and congested, so that you always feel like you're rolling back. So just sitting on a block or on the edge of a block can just help us feel a bit more kind of stable in the base of our body and able to open out through the lower back. So the soles of the feet are together. You're bringing the heels close to the groin, and if possible, you're holding the outer edges of the feet. And for today, because we're focusing a bit more on opening, just see if you can peel open the soles of the feet a little bit more to face up towards the ceiling. It might not be possible for some of you because of tight ankles, but you know, there is a way to really open the soles of the foot directly up to the ceiling for some of us, so the little toes are touching. Roll the shoulders back, lift the chest, draw the chest forward between the upper arms. Don't force the legs, just trust that they're descending in their own time. Don't bounce. When we bounce, we just continually reactivate the muscles guarding response. Just let go. Maybe close the eyes, maybe draw the chin in slightly to elongate the back of the neck. And if this is enough of a stretch for you, stay here. But there's always the option to keep the elbows in, but take the chin and the chest forward a little bit to increase the stretch. I'm dealing with an injury, so that's enough. I'm going to stay upright. But if you're going forward, if you're getting quite low, then you'd walk your hands out and kind of use that traction to get a little bit lower. Just listen to your body. And focus on your breath. And again, that's scanning through the body of what are we holding on to that we don't need to here? Are we gritting the teeth? Are we frowning? Are we clenching the belly again? Are we clenching the anus? This is another common one. Can we relax while still retaining a connection to our pelvic floor and our deep core, but in a gentle, intelligent way, not over gripping? One more deep breath. If you're folded forward, and just come back up for another breath, everybody, vertical. Right. And then we'll just move straight from Baddha Konasana to Upavishta. It's the same kind of similar stretch. Well, they're quite different, but inner thigh, inner groin. So we come to the wide leg straddle with the toes pointing up. And we'll just try that side, that kind of crescent moon thing again one more time. So we'll just go to the side first. So left hand onto the left shin or thigh. Inhale, we stretch up through the right side, and exhale, we just come over to the left with the right fingertips. And you could, like the gate, you could turn the left palm up. So again, we're creating that crescent moon with the arms and the hands this time. Keep the right buttock grounded, keep the right leg grounded, and the back of the right heel grounded. And also see if you can stay connected to your pelvic floor. It's interesting when we come into all these spread leg opening positions for the pelvic floor, can we still keep that connection, or bandhas if you're used to working with bandhas and lunar bandha, can we keep that connection here? And then at the end of your next exhale, again, come up by leading with the right hand. So how you come up, just take a breath in the center. And then exhale. Well, actually, just take the right hand onto the right leg first and inhale, stretch up through the left side. So I always like to get length first and then exhale. Take the left hand over to the right, maybe turning the right palm up as the left palm turns down to create our motif, our crescent moon motif again. I really increasingly love this idea of yoga as shape shifting, just exploring all the beautiful shapes we can make with our body, whilst we do a lot of great healing and strengthening and toning and all the rest of it. But as well, we can create beautiful shapes and symmetry. So we're working with that. Staying anchored in the left leg, left heel, left buttock, staying connected to pelvic floor, Mula Bandha. And then inhale, coming up, leading with the left hand, coming back to the center, symmetry. And then finally forward, so taking the hands, keeping the legs active, the toes pointing up, just walking the hands as far forward as is right for you. So maybe for you to be upright, and this is another one where you might want to sit on a block, by the way. Being upright is enough when we just enjoy, especially when we're working with a more yin, cooling, lunar energy. There's a sense of less is more. So you might just enjoy the spaciousness feel of staying upright. Or if we're really enjoying exploring these kind of deep, more intense openings and what that's been packed into these parts of the body might want to show itself, that we can release through just acknowledging it consciously and breathing through it, knowing we're safe, we're in control. And take the hands as far forward as is right for you, and then we'll just stay for a good amount of time here. So focus on full conscious breathing, full exhales. Just take a couple more full breaths, just commit, full inhales, full exhales. And at the end of your next exhale, just slowly walking the hands back in. Maybe just using the hands underneath the knees to assist you to bring the knees together. Maybe just coming into that introspective little ball, just hugging the knees, maybe dropping the forehead or the chin onto the knees. And just take a moment here, maybe a very gentle rock side to side. So we'll come down onto our backs, and I would like us to have a nice, a decent amount of time for Shavasana. So we'll just close with a back bend, and then I'll give you a little bit of space, like a minute or so, for any closing, stretching, or inversions that you feel you need. But we'll just do one final kind of opening for the hips and the spine. So bring the heels into the buttocks, bring the hands down either side of the hips, and then inhale, push the hips up towards the ceiling by pressing down through the hands and the feet. Stay anchored through the strength of your legs, the grounded anchoring of your feet, and maybe the palms, or interlacing the hands underneath you. And then focus on the opening again. Once we've got the stability, the support, we can just breathe fully into the front body here. And take a good amount of breaths, maybe 10 breaths. And if any of you are just feeling like your body would really like to go into a deeper opening, then you might want to take half the breaths in the supported bridge and half in full wheel with the hands under the shoulders, or half wheel on the crown of the head. Or just stay in the supported bridge. But really quality of breath, especially if we come to more intense postures like back bends, if we can keep this calm, regular, cooling energy in that intensity, the body feels safe to release. And when you feel complete, don't rush. Try to do at least 10 breaths if you can, just in your own time. Just gradually wind the spine back down from the upper back to the lower back. So you consciously place the sacrum down on the mat, and then take the feet forward a little bit and shrug the shoulders back so that the whole of the skin of the back's on the floor. And just integrate that just by grounding through the sacrum, through the back of the head. And really, timing wise, I would be really happy to move more or less straight into Shavasana. Obviously, we need to just counter the back bend. So you might just want to stretch the legs up to the ceiling for a moment and draw the knees into the chest. And that hopefully will feel enough. You might just want to rock side to side with the knees to the chest, but you might want to take a happy baby. You might need something else. So just give yourself a tiny space here to just feel if the body needs anything particular to prepare it for Shavasana. And then as soon as you're ready, whenever you feel ready, just move yourself into Shavasana so that we get a good 3 or 4 minute Shavasana. Obviously, you can take longer if you have time at home, but in the class, a good, so I can make sure you have at least 3 or 4 minutes in Shavasana. Great. Okay, so just getting yourself comfortable, checking your alignment, checking your central alignment in the spine, the head, the neck, the pelvis. Limbs dropping out to the side, arms slightly away from the sides, palms up, feet slightly wider than the hips, flopping out to the side. And like we did at the start, hopefully it's a bit easier now. We just give the body to the floor, especially feeling all the points of contact between the back body and the floor, and just heavying, densifying the body to fully meet the earth support. You feel yourself so heavy, it's like you're almost creating an imprint in the earth here. And just let go. This has been a class of letting go, and Shavasana is the ultimate posture of letting go and surrender. Just do a little scan, check you're not gritting the teeth, you're not scrunching up the face or the eyes. Relax the face, the eyes, the jaw. Relax the belly, the buttocks, the groin. Relax the chest, the arms, the hands. Relax the whole of the back. Relax the buttocks, the groins, the legs, the knees, the ankles, the feet. Whole body, relax. Whole body, relax. Whole body, relax. Those who have time, feel free, of course, to stay longer in Shavasana. For those closing with me at the end of the class, just begin to deepen your breath. Begin to make small movements to the fingers and the toes and the head. Take any stretches that feel good. Arms overhead or knees to chest. And just gradually, in your own time, maybe via your side, just return to seated to close. And just bring your palms together to close in gratitude to yourself for practicing this evening. And just trusting in the practice that it's the intention to release, it's serving this purpose. What could be released was released and will continue to do so from this practice. So just gratitude, faith, trust. And when you feel complete, open the eyes. Thank you all for sharing practice this evening. Namaste. Beautiful. Enjoy this dark moon, and I'll see you soon.